You're listening to NFT365, the first daily podcast on NFTs with your host, Fanzo.
What's up, friends? Puff, puff, pass. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Happy 420 for those that are listening to this live or in on the day of the recording. And actually, because it is 420, I thought, not only is it exactly 30 days since my wallet was compromised, or exactly 1 month ago, but I also thought a lot of you might be in the right frame of mind today on 420, that you're not going to overreact or underreact. You're just going to chill, just going to enjoy, for those that, are into, their own extracurriculars or enjoy those kind of things. It is definitely a holiday. It's also funny that there is a ton of NFT projects that are dropping today. I mean, for the ones that we're researching right now, I think I narrowed it down to 6, and there's like 6 or 7 NFT projects that we were considering for today's mint. We actually haven't even finalized which one we want to, but it's been exactly a month. And for those that aren't familiar, it was last month on a Sunday evening around 7 p.m. Eastern time. I had to kick my daughters actually off my computer, who were playing Roblox at the time, and said, hey, I have to go buy this NFT. It's minting at 7 p.m. It was called the Juicebox Friends. And when I went to go, I shut down Roblox, opened up the browser, opened up my tab, went to go look to see if Juicebox Friends had minted out yet, because I was a couple minutes late. I realized it had minted out already. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go into OpenSea. I'm going to jump over to OpenSea, and I'm going to buy that NFT from the secondary market. And I clicked on, the floor was actually moving fast. A lot of the people were buying those on secondary market. And I clicked on one, and it said it said I need to refresh my feed. I clicked on a second one. MetaMask popped open, but the screens that that the token was already moved on OpenSea, and I was like, oh, that's weird. So I just kind of closed the MetaMask window, clicked on OpenSea again, clicked on it trying to get another one. I moved over a little bit to see if I can get one that was a little bit higher than just the basic floor price. It popped open. This time I clicked the button to confirm transaction. MetaMask opened again, but then OpenSea said, nope, you didn't get it again. But I noticed MetaMask was open. So I clicked, confirm, and I was like, oh, that was weird. It didn't really do anything there. I think that's interesting. But it was still showing me like I had the transaction. So I hit confirm again. That didn't do anything again. So I just hit the X on the MetaMask, went back to OpenSea, went and found another NFT that I wanted, another one, that same one, but that was, a little bit more in price. I clicked on it this time. It actually loaded. And then OpenSea popped up, and it was right then that I noticed, I was like, oh, that's so weird that OpenSea, why is it showing a confirm transaction, not a sign button? And I was like, I didn't think much of it. I was like, that's weird. So I hit reject. And then of course I had to refresh my browser again. And then MetaMask popped open for me to confirm the purchase of the NFT off the secondary market. It confirmed, and I was like, sweet, I am good to go. And it was about an hour later when I jumped back on my computer to do a Twitter space that I noticed that my NFTs had actually been moved out of my wallet. There was actually a total of 4 NFTs that were moved out of my wallet. And man, that feeling, it still makes me sick right now, just thinking about that feeling. And, as I fast forward the story, I quickly realized that I must have, when I had hit the button on that MetaMask, that I actually had confirmed kind of transfer out of the NFTs. And I was pretty bummed. It had transferred out my 4 most valuable NFTs as far as floor price goes. But then it was the next day around 3:00 in the afternoon when the real pain really hit, when all of a sudden I started getting notifications that NFTs were getting moved out of my wallet. And it was at that point that I realized that I must have given someone full access to my wallet, and that a hacker was able to get in there and move. They were moving NFTs. They were selling some on the floor. And there's a whole episode on that whole day. I actually recorded it 24 hours later. I also have a YouTube video because once I got hacked, I immediately hit screen record so that I would record that, hopefully to teach other people and I could learn like what was going on. So what's happened in the last 30 days? Well, I filed a police report for digital goods, as there was 6 figures worth of NFTs that were removed from my wallet, many of which that were removed and resold and purchased by either innocent parties or those that were claiming to be innocent. And then I was able to move out 86 of the NFTs in that wallet. There was a total of 440 NFTs in the wallet. I was able to move out 86 of them before the hacker actually put a sweeping script on the actual wallet where it doesn't allow me to put any ETH into that wallet. And because of that, I can't transfer anything out, but they're not also doing anything with it. And in that first, that day at 3:00, one of the mistakes I made, and that's where I want to share, like, for me, this isn't about, I've been very blessed that so much amazing support from the community. And I'll talk about how I got some of the NFTs back at the end of the episode. But, couple of mistakes that I made that, we have to think about in this NFT space, right? Like, if I would have had a hardware wallet, more than likely, it wouldn't have saved me that night. Now, it would have saved me if my NFTs were not if I wasn't connecting one of my main wallets at that point, right? I would have been able to mitigate some of the risk. But because at the time, I just assumed the button I was clicking was correct, even if I had it in my hardware wallet, it would have just popped up and I would have had to put my code in on my hardware wallet, and then I would have hit sign transaction and the same thing would have happened, right? So I don't want to give like the false sense of security there, but I will say, I've now implemented, I have 3 hardware wallets for the different NFTs that we're storing. I do believe having that extra layer is important. I do believe that would have really been an interesting use case the following day when my things had happened. But when you actually, remember when your NFTs, they're not stored on your phone or stored on your ledger or stored on OpenSea, right? They are stored on the blockchain and they're attached to your wallet, which is for me MetaMask. And, although my first instinct was like, okay, I need to start saving some of my own NFTs. But then I was like, I saw that they were listing them for sale. So I jumped over to LooksRare and I canceled all listings. They have like a shortcut button that allowed me to cancel all listings. So I did that. And then I went over to revoke.cash. Revoke.cash is a great site because you're able to actually look at what contracts still have access to your wallet. And although you have to pay gas fees, you can revoke all of those that have a kind of like universal or unlimited access to your wallet. So I went through and did that. I went over to my MetaMask and I disconnected a lot of the sites that were my MetaMask was connected to, which the revoke.cash actually fixes for me. But, as I was moving my NFTs, I was like, what can I do? And so I opened up the support aspect of OpenSea and I reported my wallet as compromised. And at the time it popped up and said, just so you know, this is not something that you can reverse. And I was like, I don't care. I just want to stop someone from stealing my NFTs. But that was a false sense, right? Because here's the thing to remember is that OpenSea is just a marketplace. Even if OpenSea flags them as compromised NFTs, it just means that they can't be bought and sold on OpenSea. Someone can still transfer them on contract, transfer them on LooksRare, transfer them on XY. They can transfer them on any of the other marketplaces like Rarible. And the other part of this is that, there are a lot of things that are attached to our wallets. And that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned over these 30 days is that I submitted to a lot of whitelists. I gave my wallet, my public wallet address to a lot of people that were, hey, I'm working on a project. I want to airdrop you one when it's live. I used my wallet to connect to some of my favorite tools like Icy Tools and Rarity Sniper. And I actually had a lot, even Dune Analytics. And what is really unfortunate about this is that, when you are compromised, I still have access to my wallet. Right now, to this day, 30 days later, I still have access to the compromised wallet. And I can tell you, inside of the compromised wallet right now at this exact moment are 241 NFTs. Now, I can still connect that wallet to a website or connect it to a Discord to show that I own these NFTs, but I can't actually buy, sell, or move them on OpenSea. and I can't actually move them anywhere because as soon as I move ETH into that wallet, the ETH is automatically drained, and I can't like post them for sale because you need ETH to do that as well. And so right now my wallet is kind of hijacked, and I've been working with a couple of white hat hackers that we're working to try to run a script against the other the script that was already running to see if they could move the NFTs, and I would just have to pay some gas. Unfortunately, the first attempt, although it cost me a lot of money as far as I paid gas for, they weren't able to actually get by the sweeper script that is on my wallet right now. And so I have reached out to a couple others that might be able to rescue those 241 NFTs that are there. But I mentioned like kind of the things that I did wrong. One of the things I did wrong was that as soon as I said yes on OpenSea that my wallet was compromised, it flagged all of the NFTs that were in my wallet currently and all the ones that were transferred out within that day. So in these last 30 days, I could not buy or sell or flip or get any liquidity from even the NFTs that I saved because they are still flagged as compromised. Now, OpenSea, they actually I logged in today and they actually changed their interface today or in the last couple of days. You actually now, before they would say like, just send us an email with like this information. Now they actually have a form on their website, which I think is much cleaner. But they actually, it warns you, like when you actually go there, right? So if you're going to your OpenSea account, you go to settings and you go to account support, and then you're going to, click on say help with a compromised wallet. What you do is you can say, I have unknown transactions on my wallet, or I have everything, but my account is compromised, right? And then you can click on that. And then what it does is it tells you if you want to lock your account. Now it also has a checkbox that says, I understand I must provide a sworn statement certified by a notary public to unlock my account. Now, when I was getting hacked and I was having this like horrible feeling, of course I didn't care about that, right? I just clicked lock the account. And while I was going through all of this, the other thing that I didn't recognize or realize was that I also had other tokens that weren't my main crypto in that exact wallet. So I had some Looks tokens in there. I had ApeCoin that were in there. I had some of actually a couple other airdrops that I got, the gas coin. And unfortunately, the hacker also drained those tokens and liquidity. Now, the piece that I said where I like regret and I believe I made the bad decision is, I think what you have to try to understand first is you want to try to move all of the NFTs you can to a safe wallet. So what I did was, I had other wallets originally. So I started moving a couple of my NFTs to my other wallets. Then I was like, man, I don't know how I'm compromised. I'm not sure if someone has, put a key tracker or key logger on my computer. So I don't want to actually move them to a wallet that is on my same computer that was just compromised. So I created a brand new wallet on my iPhone. So I logged out of my existing wallet. I didn't just hit add account. Remember, there's a difference between adding an account and creating a new account, right? A new wallet means you have a new seed phrase for that wallet. If you created another account inside of your MetaMask, that doesn't mean that it is a new wallet. It's just an account in an existing wallet. And if someone owns the wallet, they will have ownership of all the accounts that are associated with it, as long as they know that those accounts are there. So I created one on my phone, a wallet, and then I used that wallet to transfer the 86 NFTs that I ended up saving. But what had happened was, while I was doing all of that, I had locked my account. I had gone in and did a bunch of things. The thing that you want to do is that, and this is like the lesson I learned, was you don't want to lock your account until you've already moved all of the NFTs that you can out of your wallet. Once you know that you can no longer, either because there's a sweeper script on there, because you have no more ETH, or maybe because you've already moved all of them out, then you actually want to lock your account, right? Now, when you lock your account and it flags the NFTs, one of the byproducts of this is that if someone innocently bought one of the NFTs from the hacker, they will notice that they will look on OpenSea and it will say, this NFT has been flagged as compromised. Now you might be wondering, like, how could they do that? How could the hacker sell it if it was flagged as compromised? Well, they could sell it on Looks Rare or one of the other marketplaces, because those marketplaces don't know that OpenSea actually has it flagged. And most of the other marketplaces don't have a very, lock your account report functionality. Rarible does, but from what I could figure out, it wasn't going to do me any favors. But one of the things that will happen is that when those people buy especially if they're an innocent person, they will buy the NFT because they're super excited. It's on the floor price, and maybe it's a project they've been dreaming to get in, and it only costs like 3 ETH. And they buy the NFT, and then they open it in OpenSea, and it says, this has been compromised. Well, they might reach out to OpenSea, or they might reach out to you directly if they can figure out who you are. And OpenSea actually asks you, is it okay if the people that buy one of your compromised NFTs email you? And I, of course, collected yes. Well, I started getting inundated from multiple people that had bought the NFT, couple of the NFTs that I had stolen. Now, most of them, I felt bad for them as bad as they felt for me. And you might be like, what do you mean? Why would you feel bad for them? Well, they were excited to join a new project, and they got an NFT that they loved, and they purchased it only to go, oh my goodness, I just bought a stolen good. Like, that's not a good feeling for anyone. And so I felt for them. Now, for the most part, all of them except for 2 were saying like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this happened. I can't get my money back, but if you can pay me what I paid for the NFT, I'd be willing to sell it to you, and then I can just buy another one from that collection or so on. Now, there were 2 people that were trying to milk me for more money, which I believe they might have been involved with the hack itself. They might have just been trying to act innocent, trying to get money for the NFTs that were flagged. I had one of them that was sent me a very hate email telling me to unlock the NFT on OpenSea, that it's ridiculous that I locked it, and I don't have any right to do that, and it's on the blockchain and so on. And so the reason I say that is because, unfortunately, the feeling of getting hacked and compromised is not one that I recommend for anyone. But I will tell you, 30 days later, and I am still dealing with some of the repercussions of that hack, right? I have not rescued the NFTs that are in my compromised wallet that are being held hostage. There are still a couple NFTs that I would like to buy back from someone that has not been in contact with me. I've had those people contacting me. And, I've also been very blessed, right? A lot of the NFT projects that we minted for the collection, if their NFT was compromised, a lot of them airdropped me an NFT from the founder's wallet for free, just as if they felt bad, right? And, our Discord, our amazing listeners here in the community, they raised over almost all the way up to an ETH, just from, you guys that are the listeners, so that I was able to buy back one of the NFTs, my Crypto Chick NFT that had been stolen from my wallet. One of the members in the Psychedelics Anonymous community heard my story and actually gifted me a $11,000 NFT to replace my Psychedelics Anonymous NFT that was stolen. And just because they loved they were fans of the podcast, and they believed a lot of the money that they had made in their NFT journey had a lot to do with me and the education here, and I'm forever thankful for those people. And then West Coast Customs and the MetaWhips team surprised me the other day and let me know that they're raising money. They've been raising money for the last couple of weeks to donate money to our collection so that we can buy some replacement NFTs, just because they were so thankful for my involvement in their project and having them on the podcast. And it makes me a little bit emotional. Just I'm so thankful for that community. But the other part of this is I also met with the FBI. Because there were others that had their wallets stolen as well on the same day that totaled over $1 million. $1.8 million were exploited on that day that my wallet was hacked by a couple others that were also hacked. I've been interviewed through a couple of news articles. I've been very transparent with it, so I've been sharing this on podcasts and Twitter Spaces that I've been on, and not everyone is going to be able to go on this journey the way that I have, right? It's been one of the other byproducts of this is that if your wallet is hacked and you have people that know about it, right? If they get hacked, they're going to look for you for answers or solace or support. And I felt very lucky. I've been able to support a couple people, give people a couple ideas of what they could do. But I also will let from a mental health and from a psychological perspective, like it can be re-traumatizing over and over again. And so, I didn't share this before, but like there are a lot of people that I know that said, after I got my wallet compromised, I took a break for 30 days. Right. And for me, I was like, oh, hey, I understand that. To each their own. The day my NFT, my wallet got compromised, I still bought an NFT into a different wallet for this project because I wasn't going to let the bad guys win. I wasn't going to let this, ruin what we've been building. But I will just say, like, we have to just be aware of that, right? Because we all handle trauma differently, and it is trauma, and it is very wear and tear, and it can be a lot. And I will also say, even the high points can be a lot, right? People that are supporting, because now I start to feel bad. I feel like, part of me is like a little bit of charity, and people feel like, they feel bad for me. So they want to, send me something. And I know that's not the case, right? They feel like they feel bad that it happened to me. They don't feel bad for me. They feel bad it happened to me, and they want to help, right? Like people want to help. But even when people want to help in a lot of these scenarios, it can be like you have to almost go relive it over again, right? And I will say, like, just for those that have had their wallets compromised that are listening to this, like, I'm sorry that it happened to you. And I know, like, maybe even just listening to this episode was traumatizing for you. And I am sorry for that as well. And, I know that, like, for me, being transparent with you, the podcast community, being open, I put all of the videos on YouTube. I uploaded every single log from my computer, website history, all of the logs from all of my wallets. I uploaded everything to MetaMask, everything to OpenSea. And, I really hope that OpenSea, if I had a one wish for, making this wallet my wallet getting compromised, being worth it, was that I really think that OpenSea should change the background color of their actual, pop-up, or even the color of the button if they don't want to do that, so that each button color represents a different type of interaction in the wallet, right? I understand that the only person to blame for a hack is yourself, right? And I'm the one that clicked those buttons. I should have taken 3 seconds and read what it said, because it would have said, you are transferring this NFT out, or you are giving this contract access to your wallet. But because I was on OpenSea, because I buy an NFT every single day, I was just going through the motions, and that's on me. Now, how did that website compromise my wallet? We're still researching that. That website, I never connected my wallet to it, and it was never in my browser history on any of my browsers. But somehow it hooked itself to my wallet. But either way, if it had popped up and it was a green background because it was a transfer request, I would have been like, oh, like, I'm not transferring, I'm buying something, right? Or, I'm confirming a transaction, right? If it would have popped up with maybe a purple background for when you're signing something, right? Like, to me, we need these tools to help us help ourselves. Like, just because that we are decentralized doesn't mean you can't redesign the user interface, the features and functions to give us a better chance of recognizing when we might make a decision, or really just a better understanding of what are the actions that we are currently taking. The other part of this is, OpenSea and their messaging and their, like, I understand that a lot of people are getting compromised and they deal with a lot of customer support, but like their tone and their pace, and even like their, whenever I was trying to get a couple of my NFTs back, they were like, just remember, like, we don't support or acknowledge NFTs that have been stolen. And for me, I was like, but I moved these into my own wallet. And so just today, 30 days later, I went through the process to, I did a sworn statement and I did a notary public. I did it through online, through a company called Notarize. And I notarized a document that said, please unlock these NFTs and these two wallets. They are mine, and I would like them to be unlocked. And I submitted that ticket with that unlocking. And so hopefully, I know it said 24 to 48 hours that it'll unlock some of the NFTs that I've had. But here's the other byproduct of it that I just want us to think about is like, a lot of like the liquidity for my personal wallet was locked up in that, in those NFTs that I had. And not to mention the tokens that were also stolen. And so, weirdly enough for me, it's like forced me to not be able to buy or sell or flip any of my current NFTs. But it also means I couldn't get any of the liquidity. I couldn't take advantage of any of the trends. And, that's unfortunate, right? Because I moved them to a safe wallet. Like, there should be an easier way for us to be able to like acknowledge like, hey, this is my new wallet. Any of the NFTs in this new wallet are mine, right? But you have to do this sworn statement and the notary. And I know that it's them protecting themselves. And they want to make sure that if you are unlocking it, that you realize that it is a sworn statement and you're not trying to game the system. But the last thing I wanted to kind of share, from a lessons learned is that, the more I've told people about my wallet being compromised, there are a lot of people that I was afraid to scare people away from the space, while at the same time I wanted to relate with people and say, like, I did a decade in cybersecurity and yet I was still compromised. And it was compromised because I didn't take the 3 or 4 seconds to read what it said above that button or to realize that that button was not the button I should be clicking on. I said, I have one window open and only one tab open. There should be no reason that pop-up should be anything other than what I am trying to do. But of course, I was wrong in that sense. And so I will say, like, the other lessons that I've learned is, I do have the hardware wallets now. I will tell you, having multiple hardware wallets, it does add a new barrier because like I'm a part of a lot of Discords. And when I want to connect and authenticate to a Discord so that it can unlock the holder channels, that can be very difficult when you have multiple ledgers or multiple hardware wallets. It also, I've now kind of diversified my wallets, and I'll give you kind of my strategy now is because I'm buying an NFT every single day. What I've decided is that every 10 days, and like 10 or 11 days, it's been 11 days pretty much, but like every 11 days, I'm going to, I'm minting one into a wallet. And then on the 11th day, I'm going to remove that wallet from my computer, leave those NFTs in it, and I'm going to create a fresh wallet for the next 11 days. Now, I'm doing that because I'm mitigating risk. What I mean by that is, the chance of me making that mistake again, unfortunately, are probably pretty high, probably higher than every single person that's listening to this podcast right now. And that's unfortunate because I don't want to tell you that I'm probably going to get compromised again, but there's a high likelihood because, I am buying an NFT every single day. I am attempting to mint NFTs on websites. But I'm going to do everything in my power to avoid that. But if I do, I want to limit the total exposure. So like if I get compromised again, the total amount of NFTs that could be in jeopardy will be 11 NFTs, not 400 plus like what happened to me this last time. And I will also say this, by having the different wallets, it also forces me to do a little bit better management of like what are in certain wallets and like what I'm doing with my NFTs. The last thing I want to share is like, we are going to need the tools and the companies to work with us. I have a pretty big following. I am verified on multiple different social networks. We have this amazing Top 25 podcast. I have a background in cybersecurity, but it was extremely hard for me to get on the radar of MetaMask and OpenSea and to share feedback. I will tell you, I have not heard anything. I submitted feedback on, through their channels as they asked me to, on my request on like, how can we change the button colors or even the entire window colors to protect ourselves. So what I would love for, our audience that are listening there, if you love this idea of us, of tools putting in some measurements that allow us to protect ourselves from ourselves, I'm going to put a link to a tweet here in the show notes of the podcast and on the video on YouTube, so that I would love for you to retweet that and to comment and tag MetaMask and say, MetaMask, hey, I think this would be a great feature, because we do need to make noise, right? I like to think that I have a pretty big influence, especially in certain areas, tech space, but it has been hard for me to get through to the powers that be, and I just know that for so many others, like they don't have the visibility to have. They don't have the medium that I have here with you as listeners. And that's really unfortunate because I'm very blessed that so many of you have been supporting, and so many people want to donate or want to, how can I help? How can I buy back an NFT, or what can I do to, to kind of support on this journey? And I will just say, like, there's a lot of others that aren't in that same, space as I am. And so, we're going to do a whole white paper for everybody over the next couple of days or a couple of weeks on. We're gonna document everything, right? The best practices for what you should be doing when your wallet is compromised, what you should do the day it's compromised, what you should do the weeks after it's compromised to protect yourself, to protect the assets that you saved. We're gonna do a whole ebook on it. It'll be a free ebook for anyone to download. I'm also doing Discord training sessions. So if you have a project that you love and you believe that I call them like they're mini master classes where I do like 45 minutes of sharing best practices on wallet management. I also share the story of that I was compromised so that people kind of realize that it can happen to anyone. But I also talk about some of the best practices and some of the things that you should do. And we've been doing that in a couple Discords, and I'm willing to do it in more Discords as just an education play, as my way of giving back, my way of teaching based on this unfortunate incident that happened to me. And the last, I've said the last thing a couple of times, but I just want to say, we can't stop bad people from doing bad things. And no matter the innovation, it's going to happen. But I do believe we can work together to put procedures and policies and design, UI and UX design to improve our ability to protect ourselves. And we also have to understand that, like, not everything has to be all or nothing. And I understand the play for decentralization. But we also have to go with that and understand that, like, this can be extremely scary. And I'm very lucky that I only had a couple $100,000 worth of NFTs in there. What if I had, millions of dollars of NFTs, or if I was a company that had, even more? And it's weird to feel lucky even though you were compromised, but I was able to save some. I had the community support, me, and I refused to give up. But I also know there's a lot of people that aren't in that same headspace as me. And I don't blame a single one of them for taking a break or giving up on this space, because it is a lot to deal with. It is a lot to feel like that violation, that like, just the feeling of like, you feel like you're doing everything right. And because the only person to blame is yourself, it's a very lonely feeling. And I also will just say that, there's also something beautiful about what this community has taught me. The amount of people that I've never met in person that have reached out just to say, hey, I'm there with you. If there's anything I can do, let me know. The amount of founders that didn't know me, that never listened to this podcast, that reached out and said, hey, was our NFT part of this? Can we send you a replacement? The amount of people that have come to me and said, thank you for being so open about this and sharing that video, that it saved them. I had someone actually send me a screenshot yesterday, and they actually were one step away from being compromised. And they said that it was because of that, YouTube video that I created, that they didn't click on the button, that they paused, and they were like, wait a second, this Moonbirds link seems too good to be true. And it ended up with, it would have transferred out their number one NFT out of their wallet. And, for that, I'm just so thankful that I'm able to educate, to amplify, to put it out there, but also celebrate like this community. And I am stronger. I am smarter. I am a better educator. I am more confident and more bullish on the power of NFTs and Web3 because of this. But it does not mean that it still doesn't impact me. It doesn't mean that I think less of how this can impact others. And so it's been 30 days. I'll probably give another update in a couple of weeks once we have that ebook out for everybody to enjoy. If you want to be aware of like those type of things, like we're doing free ebooks, free educations, upcoming NFT projects. Just jump over our website, sign up for our email newsletter. That'll keep you in the know. I know not everybody wants to jump in the Discord. If you don't like the Discord, maybe you're on Facebook. You can just search for our group on Facebook, which is NFT365. Just search NFT365. You'll see NFT365 pop-up group over there as well. And I'll leave you with this. there are a lot of amazing people in this world. There's a lot of amazing people in Web3 and in this NFT space. That mantra that I preach on this podcast of we are greater than me, I've never, ever felt it like I felt it these last 30 days. Where I felt that others felt my pain. They felt for me. They wished it didn't happen to me. There were some that said, Brian, they picked the wrong wallet to hack because you're going to educate, you're going to make changes, you're going to make it harder on the hackers' lives, moving forward. And I damn well will. And I promise you that I am not done making making noise around what I believe needs to change in this space to help protect ourselves from ourselves. But I'm bullish on people because I do believe majority of people are good. And I refuse to let the bad people win or those that are looking for the scam artists or the shortcut because, karma is a bitch. And there's also something to be said about, everything comes around, goes around. And I know that sometimes I complain that good guys like myself aren't rewarded or we finish last or good ladies or good non-binary. But I will also just say, in those moments when I struggle sometimes and say, man, it doesn't pay to be the good person. I tap back in to these last 30 days and I'm so thankful that there's so many good people that listen to this show that have projects that are supportive of others. And so when you see someone that's been hacked or their wallet's been compromised, be empathetic today, be empathetic in a week, be empathetic in a month. And just know that it's a feeling you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy, but also just know for those that have had that feeling that it is not a final feeling and we will get through this together. We will persevere. It is just NFTs. It is just money. I have my health. I am, a very proud daughter of 3 little girls. I have this amazing community, this amazing, podcast. I have this team around me that we are, now 9 members strong, supporting the podcast and the coin and the Discord community. And, until tomorrow, I love you all. Cheers, my friends.